we already know about PRISM. We already know about the expansive spying that the American government is doing to us. Now, in the old days, when the government went to the internet companies and asked for all their data, apparently some inside Microsoft, who had to deal with this all the time, had come up with a word for it. It was called hoovering. Now, it seems that it's named after the vacuum because they're hoovering up all of the data from Microsoft and other companies. Well, it turns out that's not what they named it after. They named it after J. Edgar Hoover, who would collect this information on his opponents and then conveniently use it later to blackmail them. Oh, okay. So don't worry, though. That was in the early days of the Bush, and the companies at the time had fought it to some degree, saying, hey, wait a minute, if you're going to do this, you got to get a court order. I can't just voluntarily give you the information, although they did that for 4 years before they asked for court orders, but nonetheless they did. So then Bush and Obama went through a series of steps to quote-unquote legalize it by getting friendly FISA courts to rubber stamp it, some of which refuse to rubber stamp it anyway. Those constitutional issues will come up later in the court system. And some leaders in the Senate and the House, they showed them the information, said you can't say anything about it, and those guys said, oh, okay. And then later they said, you didn't say anything about it. Hi, now it's legal. Okay, we ran it by you. Well, it has now become more formalized. And so Associated Press explains in a terrific story, what the NSA called PRISM, the companies knew as a streamlined system that automated and simplified the hoovering from years earlier. So before, they're going to Microsoft and Google and stuff and saying, give me all your data. Now the new system, including PRISM, is like, step aside, Butch. We've made this a very automated system. We just automatically suck it up. We've got the court orders, so there's nothing you can do about it. To some degree, it doesn't absolve the internet companies, but they are under court orders, so it's the government's fault a lot more than it's the internet companies' fault. So now the AP breaks what I think is the most interesting part of this whole NSA spying scandal. They explain interviews with more than a dozen current and former government and technology officials and outside experts show that while PRISM has attracted the recent attention, the program actually is a relatively small part of a much more expansive and intrusive eavesdropping effort. Now remember, PRISM is the one that collects the content of your emails, your web searches, etc. Apparently that's a small part. This is a giant story by the Associated Press, and Associated Press is not a fly-by-night operation, and they are very, very careful in what they print, okay? So they explain, Americans who disapprove of the government reading their emails have more to worry about from a different and larger NSA effort that snatches data as it passes through the fiber optic cables that make up the internet's backbone. So PRISM is when they go to the companies and they say, all right, now give me your data, right? But they don't even need to go to the companies. They go under the water to the fiber optic cables, and they go to the backbone of the internet and hoover up the information in that way. And that's some of the programs we were talking about, whether it's, Nucleon, that's for the phone companies, and Mainway for the phone companies, or Marina, and PRISM for the internet programs. So it gets worse. Former U.S. officials familiar with the process say it allows the government to keep the information as long as it is labeled as belonging to an American and stored in a special, restricted part of a computer. So they're saying, look, we got the info, but don't worry, we're not using it because it's in a special restricted area that says American. Now, a lot of times, the American stuff gets into the non-restricted area, and if you're not American, good luck to you. We have all of your emails and web searches, period. They go on to explain, that means Americans' personal emails can live in government computers, but analysts can't access, read, or listen to them unless the emails become relevant to a national security investigation. So they have them, they have our info, American citizens' info. All those things you did online, they have it. They're just saying, for the moment being, we're not going to access them unless it's a national security investigation. Well, the AP explains, well, things can change. The government doesn't automatically delete the data, officials said, because an email or phone conversation that seems innocuous today might be significant a year from now. In other words, hey man, we got the stuff. If we ever suspect you of anything, and look, they now call war on drugs a national security issue. They sometimes call them terrorists. Are you involved in the war on drugs somehow? Did you ever smoke pot? National security investigation. I have everything you've ever done online. I could use it to smear my opponents. I mean, really dangerous people that are important to national security. They have all of our stuff online, confirmed by the Associated Press. They're storing it. They haven't used it yet. But as Snowden said, it's just a matter of policy. Next time a president decides he's got a different policy, doesn't matter, he can use it. He'll say, well, it was legal, it was constitutional. Cheney agreed, Obama agreed, all sides agreed. Sad day for you. Now I'm going to take everything you've ever done online and use it as a tool against you. This is how you get Big Brother. And one analyst, Wolf Ruzicka, who is CEO of Eastbank Technologies, put it perfectly. He said, I cannot think of anything outside of a face-to-face conversation that they could not have access to. If this isn't Big Brother, where they've collected all of your phone records and everything you've ever done online and they're storing it somewhere, what's Big Brother? This is exactly what Big Brother means. Welcome to 1984.